off mic if you want.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Oh, I don't need him on mic. We're good.
I will watch and produce and let him talk.
No. We're good. We're good.
You don't want the main off mic?
No, we don't need him to be. Yeah.
Rob Loves Arguing, produced by Charlie Paradise.
Yeah. It'd just be Charlie standing in front of the camera and fucking screaming.
He'd be such a great producer if that was like just interrupts your show the whole time.
Yeah. If you just wanted Rob Loves Arguing to be that I had to scream at the producer nonstop, Charlie would be wonderful for that. No. It's amazing that I really went in today. Is this it now?
Yeah, we're recording.
Cool. There is a tension lingering that I do feel like Charlie is just outside that door and ready to burst through in dramatic fashion at any time, but we'll try to push through. I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about this because I already did an episode on it. If you go back in your episodes, I don't know if it's going to be titled anything about AI, so you might have to listen to every single episode of this podcast to find what I'm referencing. But I just want to link here, and Sanker, if we could just put we don't have to watch the video. Check out the Breaking Points video yourself on the AI bubble. But if you want all the information and to know what happens and what is happening with the AI market right now, just go back and watch that episode of Rob Loves Arguing from like maybe 2 months ago where I predicted the AI bubble.
Sounds right.
Yeah. Well, it is. I will say if we want to, because like I've really tried to, I'm not a man of great means, and I don't want to just, I've acquired enough, I think, intelligence and insight at this point in my life that I feel comfortable making certain predictions of where things will head based on like very concrete. Like I was looking today at whether or not Calci or what's the other one? Polymarket. Those are like the betting markets that are specialized sort of in non-sports betting. Like they do like elections and things like that. Here comes Charlie. And so if we were sponsored by any of those companies, this would be a great place to put that. But this is going to be very disruptive in a moment. Lee, are you just going to sit down and watch an episode of Rob Loves Arguing now?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. All right. Well, here, come over for a second and just wave to the camera. Because you know when sitcoms would do like crossover episodes?
Oh, yeah.
This is like Urkel showing up to the or the Full House or whatever. You know what I mean? This is sort of the Urkel crossover, Goblin and Ogre beach Rob Loves Arguing.
Did this really happen?
Yeah. These universes. This is going to be a Mandela effect one day when you kill all your family.
Wasn't Lee Fernandez on a Rob Loves Arguing?
Yeah.
Who cares?
This episode of Rob Loves Arguing is going to be like that Mark Jackson basketball card that nobody knows who Mark Jackson is, but the what are the two brothers that killed their family or whatever?
Oh,
the Menendez. It's the basketball card where the Menendez brothers are sitting front row, so everyone likes the card for that. This is going to be the episode after Lee kills his family. They're going to be like, oh, man, did you ever see that one obscure podcast where famous murderer Lee Fernandez was in the...
Coming soon.
All right. Bye, guys.
For Hot Dogs, we got a doc I watched a couple days ago. It's on Judas Priest.
And how he tricked all of them into dressing like gay people the entire time.
No, it's like that. There's like 3 or 4 like music docs. There's that one.
There's a Judas Priest.
Yeah, if you guys want to take it, let me know. I'll bring it to you guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all right, cool.
Have a good night, guys.
So, yeah.
Later.
Yeah, the Polymarket, I looked today to see if on Polymarket or on Calci, there was a betting line on America using a tactical nuclear weapon in Iran, because I think at this point I'm like pretty convinced the only like resolution of this situation is that America uses a tactical nuke. So if you're watching this and you can find any of the any like obscure, it could be Serbian or something nefarious, but somewhere with and good odds. I don't want like you to find me a market where it's like plus 110. America's going to use a fucking nuclear weapon. But if there's a chance to lay some money down and you got pretty solid odds, like if 100 can make me 1,000,
Yeah.
I'd put 100 down right now on America uses a tactical nuclear weapon in Iran before it's all said and done. So like and by the way, I believe it even more because apparently Polymarket did have it up for a little bit, and then they felt like it was like
Incendiary.
they said they were uncomfortable with it. I think they had really extreme odds because they thought it wasn't likely, and things started moving in a direction that would have hurt them too hard,
Right.
and they just canned it.
I think here's another possibility. That could be true. Another possibility is Trump is so fucking... He has his finger on the pulse of people talking about him that the way I understand Trump to be is that he could actually see someone go, they're betting I won't do it? Okay.
I mean, listen, he could literally technically take his wealth, put it on. Like, this is why all these betting things are so dirty. You know what I mean? Like, the NBA is getting destroyed by this.
Yeah.
Like, they keep fucking... Remember the Chauncey Billups thing? We haven't heard a fucking
Peep
whisper.
out of that.
But, man, let Jaden Ivey express his Christian beliefs, and you better believe they cut him in a second.
It's true. We spent more time on Kyrie Irving believing in flat Earth than an entire conspiracy of betting and stuff in basketball.
Absolutely. And like, Kyrie Irving is... And by the way... Like, and by the way, this is what a good, this is like a real goblin and ogre, Rob was arguing, meld of this. Because
flat Earth.
well, because you
Yeah.
know what, we were talking about Kanye and Cat Williams and kind of free people in the other, and on Goblin and Ogre.
Sure, yeah.
And I think Kyrie Irving fits into that. Kyrie Irving is one of the most talented basketball players that's ever lived.
Yeah.
His dribble is, better than anybody's. And he has the highest, like, not acceptance. He's the most liked player by players in the entire league. He has like the highest. What is that?
Basketball approval rating?
Yeah, but I mean, like,
Yeah,
there's a not QR or IQ, but there's like a term for that when you like what people think about you, whatever rating.
Yeah.
And he has like the highest in the entire like NBA Players Association. People
interesting.
love Kyrie because he
Like
stood
me-
up for them.
So like fellow or even opponents are like, he's a good dude.
Yes.
That's basically what it's...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You have to keep in mind, NBA, they don't fucking care if you're an opponent anymore. Like, there is no like real
rivalry.
team loyalty
There's
and
no
rivalry.
Gary Paytons anymore.
Because you all come up through the same system. You're fucking children together. Like, it used to be that, like...
Separate that more. You're fucking... children.
Oh, children together. Yeah. That's LeBron.
Yeah.
But that's only really LeBron and a select few. No, I mean, like, your children.
You were kids
You come
at
up
the same time.
If you're at a high level when you're a teenager or a middle schooler, you know each other. You know, like Kevin Durant knew Greg Oden from, hey, oh yeah, I played with him at this camp. He's a cool guy. He's whatever.
Yeah.
These guys, they go play in the Olympics together. They go whatever. All that shit makes you like way tighter than... That's how the super team bullshit started. Was all these guys are buddies off the court, and there is no animus. So when they all become free agents, they might all buddy up and be like, let's go be a super team.
And now, to be fair, I would argue there was always people who were like buddy in the league forever. But there used to be, similar to comedy, two sides. Like there was a faction. And you were either an Isaiah Thomas or you were a Jordan, and you fit those two sides. And maybe that's what's disappeared, is the two sides.
Yeah, and I think there could still be hatreds. Like, do you know the Jaden Ivey situation?
No.
So Jaden Ivey, he was drafted by the drafted by the Pistons. This will be the end of his rookie scale contract. So 4 years ago, 5th overall.
Sure.
Pistons in the middle of a rebuild. They've got Cade Cunningham. This is supposed to be the shooting guard to go next to Cade Cunningham. And they got him even a pick. They thought they hit a home run. He was finally coming on last year, had an unfortunate injury, and then just year coming back, just never really fit fully back into the rotation. And then he also decided to let people know how he felt about gay people. And so
Good
now
timing.
he did not. So he got traded to the Bulls at the trade deadline. So he was playing for Chicago. And it's interesting to look back because that trade seemed lopsided. The return for a guy who still seemed to have a lot of upside didn't quite seem to be there. Like it seemed like an under value for his upside. And so it does make sense now that maybe some people at the Pistons had heard some shit or something,
yeah.
you know, that they were maybe
Wanted
a
out
little
there.
more aware of his strong religious beliefs than they knew, and that they thought that might be a problem possibly down the road, which it ended up obviously being. So the Bulls, so he basically said he didn't like that the NBA celebrates Pride Month.
Yeah.
And so the Bulls released him. And the Bulls aren't good. They're not like
They don't have someone to throw away.
yeah, they're not
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, we're so stacked with guys. He's sort of like whatever. Like you could have penciled him in next to. By the way, Josh Giddey is the guard that was playing next to Jaden Ivey. Josh Giddey a couple years ago was dating a 15-year-old. He's still playing for Oklahoma City. Josh Giddey was dating a 15-year-old. He still plays for the Chicago Bulls.
Right.
No problem whatsoever. Kevin Porter Jr., who plays for the Milwaukee Bucks right now, beat and strangled his girlfriend a few years ago in the middle of the season.
Okay.
The Clippers did release him, but he's back. So that guy's okay. Like, it is wild. Now, I do think the Christian thing has gotten annoying.
Yeah.
We kind of talked to...
Yeah.
you
More
know,
in comedy.
yeah, in comedy in particular, especially, is that like that became the new edgy was to be Christian.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, and I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily. Like there is, I guess it's good. There's good and bads, like there always is in things. Like I do think that getting away from religion so much was a negative because like there are good things about religion. There's it's a book of good ideas. Essentially, at the end of the day, it just gets implemented poorly. And like I'm not a believer in God whatsoever, but I'm not a hater of any particular religion. But it is funny how it just sort of always gets like passed around what you can persecute like openly. Like the Christian thing was, and I'm not even saying it's kind of a hacky thought to go, oh, you can openly persecute Christians and nothing else. Like that's kind of been true for a bit and been commented on. It's actually Jew season right now. You can kind of say what you want about Jews pretty openly now, and people are okay with it.
Letting that slide.
And like, listen, there's always sort of a reason when Islamophobia was at its height. 9/11 had just happened. I'm not saying it was deserved, but there was generally some sort of root in any sort of like when a hatred for a people comes up, there tends to be not even a root that
Call it an impetus.
Yes, an inciting event.
Yeah.
Even I think to keep it as clean as possible because I don't want people thinking that I'm justifying it. It's more just that usually there's something going on, and I mean this is why false flag things happen, right? Mm-hmm. Like it is to incite that impetus in the first place with things. So like it's not we know this because literally it's used against us at times. There's an argument to be said, and to a degree I'm of full belief that 9/11 was allowed to happen. It was not that it was an inside job or it was whatever, but the facts are we had those fellas in Kuala Lumpur dead to rights. We could have had all of the fellas that did that shenanigans. We had them in Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah.
Then we let them go. We knew we let them go. Weirdly, John Brennan, who later became Obama's CIA director, gave all of them their passports in Saudi Arabia while he was the embassy director in Saudi Arabia, oddly enough, and then later becomes Obama's CIA director, and then later becomes a Muslim. Strange, but I don't think that it was necessarily to create Muslim hatred. Purely, it was to allow us to attack some countries we wanted to attack because Israel told us to. But I know you don't agree with that. I do like
Yeah,
that we
yeah.
have some pushback on the Israel thing to a degree because it is probably good to keep me somewhat restrained. Although every day it just gets worse and worse. But
I would say I'd probably have more pushback on some of your opinions if I was smart and well read. Mm-hmm. And that's not to say, oh, you're not smart and not well. Meaning you say some things and I go, that's probably right, because I have no idea what you're
Sure.
talking about prior to this podcast.
sure, but it is also it's funny. I rewatched a DL Hughley, the clip that you put out
Yeah,
about
yeah,
DL Hughley, and it did just make me double down on my point of view. DL Hughley's a fucking idiot. By the way, a new thing, because I have decided that this podcast does need to go in a direction of me calling more people out and having more beefs. So this is now the hater horn. So every time I'm about to hate on somebody, we'll do the hater horn. I really got to take the price tag off of this. All my instruments are from Value Village. So, but yeah.
Well, that's part of the kitschiness, I guess. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
I don't know how to play any of them, but it's only becomes a stupider point of view as we weren't prepared. I wasn't prepared for that topic.
Yeah.
And it just makes me even madder.
Did you watch it later?
Yeah.
Not the clip. What DL Hughley? Did you
No,
research it?
I never. Because it was this afternoon and I never got a chance to. But I should go back and actually watch the clip
I don't think
itself.
it'll make you hate him less. And I'll say this: when I was watching that clip, I have always loved DL Hughley. Not because of anything recent, but he was someone that I would watch his specials, enjoyed a lot. He was in small roles in TV shows, so I would be oh, he was from that one episode of Fresh Prince. I was a fan of DL Hughley. I don't hate him right now, but was it a great take? No. But I do think he just meant, you know what I mean, comedians. He knew you didn't mean Dan Carlin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Liz, but I also just think that's a stupid point of view regardless. And I know he wasn't applying this to stand-up comedy necessarily, but when I moved to Toronto, a young, early 20s, spry young Rob, I was unaware of Doug Stanhope.
Yeah.
I got into stand-up comedy. I would describe myself at the time as a Lewis Black fan. For the most part.
I could, you know what? I could still see that.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I would say maybe even I should walk this back a step and give some credit to Lewis Black to some degree. Because I probably wouldn't hold some of the opinions I had I not got into Lewis Black at a certain age. Which then eventually comedy led me to Doug Stanhope. And a lot of because Lewis Black would handle things on a surface level. Stanhope got a little more in the mud. And a very early framing of a lot of the opinions I had, or at least exploration of opinions I had, were from Doug Stanhope. And so to go now, did the train stop there? No, and it shouldn't, obviously. But we do spark intellectual curiosity. That is the point. Should all the information you ever take in on any subject be from a comedian? No. But can the beginning of the subject be from a comedian? Can you get a pretty good direction on how you feel? The reason I wish these people understood that the reason Joe Rogan is popular, not just popular, the reason it's good is because Joe Rogan talks like us. Because Joe Rogan's comprehension level was similar to our comprehension level. If Neil deGrasse Tyson did a podcast with Elon Musk, it would be meaningless to most people because we wouldn't understand the intricacies of what they were, unless they were doing a podcast where they watched 21 Jump Street together and commented on it, then we could follow.
Yeah.
But if they had a conversation about astrophysicism and shooting rockets into space and shit, we'd have no fucking clue what any of it means, and it would be the Bible in Latin, right? So Joe copies the Bible from Latin into English for us. And that's important. And you're not supposed to just listen to one episode of Joe Rogan and go, that's everything I believe now. There's a wide variety of people on that talk about a wide variety of subjects, but he translates it from Latin to fucking English for us. That's the point. And like that's been the point of comedy like the whole time. So to single out one medium of the art form and go, that's the one that this doesn't do it in is fucking stupid. And honestly, it makes me think D.L. Hughley isn't particularly intelligent. Like it kind of makes me think like, oh, so did you just read all of your opinion? Like, because that's how I feel about Joe Rogan. Like, I don't look at Joe Rogan as a particularly intelligent fella. I don't think he's a dumb guy. I'm not trying to be insulting with that.
Yeah.
I just don't think that he's. Do you know the book No Logo
No.
by Naomi Klein? So it was a book. It's from here, but it was very popular in the 90s, particularly with like alty kind of fuck capitalism, whatever lefty kids, right?
Yeah.
And and there was a book that had a pushback called Rebel Cell, which I also from Toronto. I also think is a good rebuttal to it. But it talked about how brands look at, like Nike, for instance. We'll just focus on used to go find people, and this was before everyone was a celebrity and an influencer or whatever.
Yeah.
They would literally just go find a cool kid and go, here's some Nike, here's some whatever, because there was these waves that these companies knew that their brand had to go through, right? And so you could be like the whatever influencer was then, and then you're an early adopter. I consider myself an early adopter with most things. I'm pretty good to trends. I'm pretty good to ideas. I'm pretty whatever, but I don't know that I've created my own thesis on things. You know, I mean, I like to say that the libertarian philosophy of I'd fuck your wife, like the refutal of libertarianism with the I'd fuck your wife, make your own roads theory is kind of from me.
I'd fuck your wife and make your own road?
Legion of Skanks fans will know exactly what I'm talking
okay.
about. It's the idea that when libertarians, if you actually walked out their principles to their nth degree, and it was like build your own roads. So Big J constantly mocked Dave with build your own roads is because it's a not famous, but infamous, we'll say, fight between me and Dave, where I was mocking his idea of building your own roads. Because ultimately, if we built our own roads, how long would it be until, I guess technically, I love you, Dave, but technically this is hater horn. How long would it be until the guy that owns the road to the hospital says, if you want to use my road, I get to fuck your wife?
Right.
Like a week, right? Like that, it would not be long until that happened. So that's my theory on it.
Right. That
Point
makes sense.
is, what?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that
I
one.
always love the food court. I'm very like I just been around enough libertarian things to have a pretty good refutal of it.
Yeah.
I also believe libertarian is like the food court at an airport. Is that like if you just let capitalism be truly free, you're paying $12 for a Whopper wherever they can get you. You know, like when you go to the food court at an airport and everything is rapey, that's because they got you, right? Like there's no other reason. Like it doesn't. I've worked at an airport. I worked at Pearson Airport for like a month and a half. There's nothing they have to do that costs more money to get you the product at the airport. There's no additional cost to that, right? So like they're just fucking you. Like so
Sky Dome, all those kinds of stuff. Yeah.
So when they're allowed to fuck you, they fuck you.
They just do.
Yeah. So when you have unfettered capitalism, that's surge pricing on Uber. That's, you know what I mean? Every time you get fucked by capitalism, that's what libertarianism would look like.
But isn't the rebuttal to that, and I'm just being a mouthpiece for Dave Smith, which I am because I'm just as smart, is that I've heard this is the libertarian argument is that's not real capitalism and like monopolies and stuff. That's not real. That's not true capitalism. That's us not allowing true capitalism. You ever heard that argument? Like, it's not the capitalism we experience where there's like all that shit is bad capitalism.
And if we were still living in rural egalitarian America, which is the example libertarians always use as when libertarianism worked, that would make perfect sense. However, we have what's known as infrastructure now. And I don't think I'm going to just go, you know what? I don't like my cell phone plan. Let me erect a bunch of cell towers around the entire... Like, it's just not how things actually work anymore. We have too much infrastructure. Like, you can't just go make your own bridge. to the U.S. You can't just go make your own. Like, that doesn't work.
Isn't that the argument? And this is there's something fundamentally I do not like about libertarians, even though I think I might agree with them. And it's like, isn't that the argument? They're saying that's not true capitalism. There's too much government in the way.
Well,
like,
first of all, what's annoying about libertarians that you're probably feeling is that they're super smug. And it's like, when you're never going to win, it's very easy to be. It's like the Bloc Quebecois here.
Yeah.
Where the Bloc is smarmy and cunty and whatever, but you're like, of course you are. You're never going to win, and you don't even mean to win.
Yeah,
so, like, of course you can just throw shit at the wall.
I get you.
You have no hope in the goddamn world. So libertarians are kind of the same thing. They're like, well, if we did it my way, everything would be perfect. But it's easy to say that because no one will ever do that. That's why
like women ruling the world.
Yeah,
we're not going to allow it ever. So you can say it as many times.
Absolutely,
we would
never be retarded enough. As much as we tell you you're okay, and like, yeah, absolutely, I'd vote for a female president. Like, you know, when men started saying we'd vote for a female president, as soon as we realized that the president doesn't mean anything. The second we were like, oh, Israel runs America, we were like, yeah, get a chick in there. Once we realized that they don't matter anymore, we're not that's crazy.
But yes, the problem, the libertarian argument is that what you just mentioned, the government thing. Like, I have a weird small dream of, like, I just want to open a food stand, like a hot dog stand, and just, make money off of that and do that. But I know already in my head that there's, like, I got to get
it comes with a dick in your ass,
and it takes a year, all this kind of shit. And their argument is all that shit is stopping real capitalism.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, here's a libertarian ideal. Obviously they would take it further, but let's just say swinging to the right and whatever. I actually think that Rob Ford was a better mayor than he gets credit for in some ways.
I think a lot of people say that. Stuff. I don't know if I agree. I need to research it more. But.
Now, this is around a lot of transit things. He was very much, fuck these LRTs, let's just get actual subways, and I agree with him on that.
Yes,
where I don't agree, and what he really fucked the city with, was work to rule. And that's going to be Charlie. What work to rule is that it used to be there were only, what's up, Nickola? Well, you know what? I'm going to have you on the end of the podcast in a second. Cool. It used to be that city contracts the bidding was a very narrow window of companies that were allowed to bid into city contracts, whereas Rob Ford put in what was called, I believe it was work to rule or whatever it was, but it basically made it so that, like, all these private companies could come in and underbid and whatever. And what that ultimately does is just mean that you're getting shitty fucking construction, shitty workers who pay their people shit. Like, when I moved so briefly from New York to Chicago, I spent 3 months back in Windsor. And because I wasn't going to stay long, I picked up a shitty job and I had just been hit by the truck as a whole thing. I needed to pick up a job. I picked up this property management job. Now, the property management job was contracted through the city. So I did property management on public housing and on public schools. But we were a private company the city had hired. So I was being paid minimum wage to do a job for the city, where generally if you work for the city, you're paid a pretty decent salary, you have benefits, there are rules, there's a union of some sort, or at least close to a union and whatever. I just worked with the fucking shitty kids and old alcoholics, cutting grass and fucking flipping public housing units for people.
Yeah.
When you allow that, there are sectors that should be private and there's sectors that should be public. And when you allow things like that in, you're just opening the door to shitty work. Like, the lowest bidder is not the correct person. It's the same problem America has, and I've said this on before, is that when a company goes public, a CEO has a fiduciary responsibility to get the best deal for its shareholders.
Yeah.
How often is the best deal actually the right thing in the long term for a company, and how often is short-term money long-term losses, right? So think of that now for a city. The city now has to look at bids and go, oh, well, what's the lowest one? That doesn't mean it's the best, right? Highways got to get rebuilt. Like, whatever. You do shitty work. How much sooner do we have to redo that thing? How much sooner do we whatever? So all these factors don't get put into things. Again, what things should be public, what things should be private? I believe fully healthcare should be absolutely public because collective bargaining is good. What's like the most important thing you can buy? Your health, right? Anything to do with your health, surgeries, whatever. You're going to want collective bargaining. I believe that we're in reruns on this too, but why are drug prices way lower in Canada? And like, we know which one's better. This isn't even a debate anymore. That's what kind of frustrates me. And I get that libertarians would say we don't have true free market, whatever. Fine. But ultimately, diabetes medication. Where was diabetes medication cheaper? Canada or the US with all their freedom and their bullshit? It was cheaper in Canada because we collectively bargain the prices of diabetes medication. So why was one of Trump's biggest moves on pharmaceuticals that he allowed you to bring pharmaceutical drugs in from Canada? That's literally the best thing Trump has done on healthcare, is allowing you to buy from a socialist system. Like, there are certain markets where collective bargaining is the most effective way of going about it. Like, so ultimately, yeah, that's where I don't buy the libertarian thing.
Like real capitalism idea.
It's just, again, libertarians will tell you that, you can't use Sweden as an example for socialism because Sweden is 2 million people or 20 million or whatever. It's too small an example, right? But they don't go back to any example of themselves except for colonial America, which we're talking 50 to 75,000 people. Like, there is no example of this. Thomas Paine didn't have to run telephone wires. Like, and I'm not saying Thomas Paine isn't a brilliant person and that some of those values, Thomas Paine is kind of, if you're a libertarian, he's like the dude for them.
Oh, okay.
Like, it doesn't mean that he doesn't have good ideas and that aspects of that aren't correct. Like, I genuinely believe, like, at a younger age, I would have called myself a socialist, but I don't living in America kind of changed my perspective on that. I think that there needs I think the fact that the president changes every 8 years is the best thing for a country. Now, the fact that the president's completely fake and it doesn't make any difference anymore is a problem. But in a real system where the president actually matters or the prime minister actually matters or whatever, every 8 years switching back and forth is actually good, because what we have a tendency to do, I know I'm tangenting a lot this episode, but let's take the Me Too movement as an example of this. Mm-hmm. Now, did the Me Too movement go too far, grab too many people, and annoy us? And what was man-spreading too much, right? Like, was whatever. Do we have these things about the Me Too movement that we look at and go, that was overkill,
nonsense.
right?
Yeah.
However, on the swing back, right? Because I think culturally we're now on the swing back of the Me Too movement. We're regaining. But what happens is that the good part of the Me Too movement doesn't go away.
Yeah.
Right? The good part stays. It's the bullshit that flies off when it swings back. So politically, it's the same thing. Do you know why Republicans don't bring up repealing Obamacare anymore? Because it turns out that a shit ton of their people fucking love Obamacare. So they wouldn't dare say that because they're going to lose a ton of votes. It turns out, like, often when something is good, the other party just adopts it. Why didn't Biden drop Trump's tariffs on China? Because he saw that they were effective. So ultimately, this swing back and forth is good. And we tend to just collect the best ideas from each other. Like, that's sort of how this all works. Like, we're really in a period where we're going to have to, and we were so tribal. And if you want to be on the next, listen, what Rogan was, whatever was tip during all of that stuff, you're going to have to be on the fuck all the differences. We're all fine. Like, and every movement has that, but there's always an undercurrent of their own biases behind it. There's always like, yeah, man, we don't need to judge everybody. I mean, Muslims are violent, but we don't need to whatever. We're going to have to genuinely, once again, go back and stop that. It's going to be Jews. And like, listen, Jews, you should be madder at Israel than anybody. Like, because Yeah, it is here. I was the guy, I think, when this podcast started talking about how anti-Semitism is overblown. But now it can't be. But because you've put yourself in a position, and even saying that's wrong. Let me even walk that back, because not all Muslims were putting themselves in the position when 9/11 happened. But this is now your 9/11, Jews. Like, that's what this is. And so, like, understand there is blowback. Like this, there is going to be a cultural blowback for you guys. And also, now let's not do a hater horn on Jews. But like, if you want to know where the next thing is, the next trend, the next movement that people are going to go, yeah, that guy's right and whatever, we got to stop with all of it. Stop blaming fucking anyone. Stop coming to a conclusion that this is anything. Like, we're so close right now. And by the way, if anybody can flip this and make it finally work, it's Jews. But right now, Jews are the hated thing. We're kind of okay with Muslims. I think even though Jaden Ivey got released, I think the immediate response to Jaden Ivey being released for his Christian views was wrong. And even though they still did it, that's a mainstream company. Mainstream companies are always going to be the last to the party. They're always the last ones to understand where culture's shifting, because they always got to play it safe. So the Chicago Bulls do what the Chicago Bulls were going to do, dropping Jaden Ivey. Yeah. But are they in the wrong lane culturally right now? Yeah, they are. They're in the wrong. People are not stupid. Exactly the things we say, other people are going to say. Kevin Porter Jr. beat and strangled his girlfriend. Fucking Josh Giddey had a 15-year-old girlfriend. He plays right next to him on the fucking Chicago Bulls. People are going to start saying these things. We're all getting pretty tapped into things. You can still manipulate us. You can still lead us towards things, and there can still be inciting incidents like Israel leading us into one of the worst decisions in the history of the world. And so that is going to have ramifications, and it shouldn't. Jews rule. I fucking love Jews like my whole life. I didn't have a lot around me as a kid, and then I got into entertainment, and I met all these super cool Jews, and they were all sort of like culturally progressive and whatever, and it was just like, I kept meeting Jews that I was like, cool. And I had a very high opinion, and I still have a very high opinion. But Israel is 9/11ing you right now, and it is going to be a problem, because people are going to suffer. This is not just a PR thing. There's a lot of long-term, they're talking now $200 a barrel for oil. Like, there is a lot of long-term suffering coming. Mm-hmm. So people are going to look and go, that's you guys. Like, the Trump thing, there's only so much. What are they going to do? Complain about Trump more?
I know they blew up fuel things, but am I crazy or dumb? And you can call me dumb. Is that it's also somewhat fabricated in that, tell me if this makes sense, is that if I break this chair, right, eventually there will not be enough chairs for people. So let's say you charge $10. This is the worst example ever, but let's say you charge $10 per seat to sit here in this room, right? And then I break one chair, and you go, this is going to lead to a lot of chair breaking. I'm going to charge $20 per seat here every time there's an audience here. Mm. But there's only one chair broken, right? I felt like when the oil thing happened, I'll be more straight to it. It was like the day after people said, oh, this is going to raise oil prices. Oil companies went, let's just raise oil prices now. Didn't they have a pool, a reserve of oil already heading? The oil that they changed the price on, wasn't it already sitting under
first
petrol?
Of all, unfortunately, no. And that can go back to being blamed on Biden. Biden used up a very large reserve of our oil, America's oil, during his presidency. That's not to be partisan. That's just like the reality of what happened. America was sitting on one of the lowest oil reserves. Now, keep in mind, America is as energy independent as they've ever been. America is sitting on a very large LNG, like liquid gas supply. And the goal here, what they're trying to sell, is that now, hey, Europe, buy our liquid gas, right? And that sounds great in a simple person's mind. It's actually a very easy thing to sell to citizens because they don't actually understand the ramifications of that. Not trying to call you simple, but
I might be.
If America has a bunch of LNG gas, that is good for keeping their energy costs low, right?
Yeah.
What happens though is when other places are now dependent on your LNG, you have to raise the price of your LNG, which now raises the price of your energy costs in America for consumers, being you. So does the gas company in America benefit from being a much now larger percentage of the world's supply of gas? Yeah, there are some people who benefit from that, a very small pocket of them and their shareholders. Nobody else benefits, and it doesn't even really matter ultimately. This is what people have to understand. You know what? I think this is a very clean... I was kind of trying to say this to Kennedy, and sometimes she's literally busy and I'm just saying things, but this, more than anything, like one, there's a couple, let's look at this period of time in a historical context. One, this will be the decision that ends the American empire. And I'm not being facetious with that or dramatic. Iran has just become a world superpower because of what we're seeing is happening due to their ability to close the Strait of Hormuz. And Nickola, I'll have you on the podcast in a minute to wrap up because I'm curious of your opinion. You're a smart young man. But the reason for that is because this is the end of speculation world. And we have been living in speculation world for too long. Everything has been bullshit. Our economy is bullshit. Our housing market is bullshit. Our currencies are bullshit. GE used to make appliances. GE used to be the name on the stove and the microwave in your house. Do you know what GE does now? They manipulate currencies because it was more profitable for GE to use the money that they had to manipulate currency all day than it was to make stoves. Our economy and our entire world has been propped up on absolute bullshit for far too long, and this is causing us to have to understand what is real and what is fake. And what is real is that there is a body of water stretching out of the Persian Gulf Peninsula that the majority of the Earth's energy passes through. And ultimately, the real thing is that there is a country that controls that strait. There is a reason it's called the Persian Gulf because Persian Iranians control it. And ultimately, that actually matters. It doesn't matter what Bitcoin is today. It doesn't matter what gold is selling at. What happens is that all of those things rely on actual natural resources and pathways and trade deals and alliances. And all of these things actually fucking matter. And we've gotten so far away from them actually being a real thing that COVID should have been the wake-up call. COVID was the fucking wake-up call. Our supply chains are fucked. The fact that 89, I've said, we literally, the Robles Arguing merch should say 89% of our pharmaceutical drugs are made in China because I can't stop bringing it up. Because if China decided that they wanted to kill Americans, they could stop selling us all of our antibiotics. Like, all of this shit is real and all of it fucking matters. And that's what we're about to find out. So invest in nuclear energy. If you want to do some disaster capitalism, invest in nuclear energy. Find yourself a company, a nice uranium mining company. You're going to put 50% of your investment in a nice uranium mining company. Then you're going to find a good little tool implementation company because you got to think, right? Everything is specialization and fucking horseshit now. You want to work in a fucking kitchen, you need a special knife. Imagine how specialized all of the instruments used in the mining of uranium are. So you're going to go find yourself a nice Texas instrument for uranium, whoever they are. You're going to put like 30% of your investment into that. And you're going to put 20% of your investment into... So here's I think that these are the very high upside, but it is also scary because
If you have any money right now in anything, and you're gonna have to dig in this. This is the biggest problem with companies fucking too, is that like, I'll stop soon. But look at Paramount, right? The Ellisons own Paramount now. Basically, Paramount is Israel's network, and they just bought Warner Brothers, which gives them CNN. They have CBS. They have whatever. Huge acquisitions. We've done an episode on it. But guess what? The acquisition of Warner Brothers hinges on very heavily investment from the Gulf. And now, like, understand, again, I think everyone thinks I'm being hyperbolic. Qatar is a third world country again. Qatar went from literally a month ago being, say what you want about, they have slaves, they have whatever, put all of it aside. Qatar was a fucking country a month ago. They're not now. Like, they're a third world fucking country again. And say what you want, Gulf countries are too dependent on natural resources, and that leads to despots. And like, I'm not saying ultimately that we can rely on these things for long term. Like, they've made their own bed, but that's not a country no mo. Like, that's falling the fuck apart. Like, they've created failed states like that. Israel has occupied southern Lebanon already. Like, they took another country we're not even talking about yet. Like it is full-scale catastrophe. Like, it is catastrophe investment time. Look into your investments. If your investments rely heavily on investment from the Gulf states, get your money the fuck out. It's going to collapse. If you have money in AI, again, I cited this at the beginning of the podcast, and I'll close with it on this. Get your fucking money out of AI. It's too heavily invested in the Gulf states, and it's too reliant on energy. That money is gone. I'm sorry if you've had money in AI. It's already gone. By the time you're watching this, you already fucking know. It's over, man. Like, that's done. AI is military technology now. That's it. That's fucking it. So, like, get out. If I was the president of a country, I think the first thing I'd do would be to ban AI in my country and instead of make America great again, it would be make America do its own fucking homework. Like, it would be, like, people would get behind that idea so much of just, you know what? In our country, our kids are actually going to learn shit. They're actually going to do the fucking work. And it's not that these things can't be used as tools, but they sold us a dream. The tools were too expensive for where they are. If we're not going to pay $30 a month to use ChatGPT, it's not financially sustainable a month ago. I did an episode on this 2 months ago because 2 months ago AI wasn't economically sustainable. Today, it's a joke. It's done. Man plans and God laughs. And that's what we're finding out. So Jesus went to the temple and turned over the speculators' table for a reason. Because speculation is bad. It leads to nothing. It helps no one. It makes greedy people rich, and that is it. There is no job creation. Bitcoin started by we think that Japanese fucking guy, but we don't even know for sure, whatever. Fucking Kaiser Sose, as far as we know.
Yeah.
But the point was, it was to protect you from inflation when there was political instability. This was the point of Bitcoin. We had a reason. Oh shit, my president just decided to attack Iran. That's pretty dumb. I bet you our dollar is going to be hurt pretty bad by that. Let me take my unbelievable wealth and put it into something that has an algorithm that will protect it from inflation. And I'll be okay until the political instability is done. And then I move my fucking money back into my currency because I'm a patriot. Because I believe in things. And I'm going to put my money back where it can help people and it can grow the economy. Job creators used to be a real thing. This is the second episode I've talked about rich people this way. But rich people used to create jobs. Yes, did Henry Ford hate the Jews? Sure. But at least he employed some. At least he had a fucking factory that you could go to work and make a living. Like, God bless even Elon Musk to a degree. Is there some speculation of horseshit behind Elon Musk? I'm certain. But he's still got a factory.
He's still paying people to put people in fucking space. There's still a call center when your fucking Tesla breaks down. There's still all of that. People need to, the only companies we should be investing in are companies who employ people. And that sounds fucking silly, but it's not. It is this era in history, we will look back and we will go, this was Jesus tipping over the table, the speculator's table in the temple. This is the moment in history where shit gets real. And I don't mean that in a reality show, oh, shit got real way. Shit actually has to get real. Fish are valuable because we eat them. Water's valuable because we drink it. All of these things are going to become infinitely more true. And if you have your money or your effort in anything else, change it. Or find a way to funnel that into fucking something that helps in things. Because things that help are going to help. Like, and it is crazy that that's a necessary thing to say, but that's how far we've gone. That's how crazy things have gotten. Is that the concept of jobs should create jobs, or jobs should benefit things, or unbelievable wealth should have a benefit to the world. And this isn't on some pure lefty bullshit. There are good billionaires and there are bad billionaires. A lot more of them are bad than good, but there's both. Listen, I love Jeff Bezos, but there's a bajillion fucking Amazon factories that employ thousands and thousands and thousands of fucking people. Could he pay them better? Could he whatever? Absolutely. Let me put this in a way that I believe you will appreciate, Sanker, and then we'll get Nickola on for a couple minutes. But there are Kendricks and there are Kanyes. Kendrick got a Reebok Classic shoe deal. I appreciate what he did. The Reebok Classic Kendricks were like $80. Kids, little black kids in the hood didn't have to kill each other for them. Mm-hmm. You know, it was like a reasonable hip-hop guy shoe that you could get. Kanye has $300 whatever Yeezys go for. Yeah. Kids kill each other in the street for them. They, whatever. However, Kanye has factories in Calabasas. Kanye has created generational wealth for a black family beyond most black men in America ever will dream of doing. Probably beyond what the Carters have done, ultimately. The West will have that because he went and built the factories. Like I said about how every 8 years things need to change, you need both. You need Kendricks and you need Kanye's. When Kanye said 400 years of slavery sounds like a choice, I agree. It's a terrible choice, but it's a choice. Was the choice death? Right? Maybe they kill your family for trying to get away. That cannot sound like a choice to you, but it is a choice, ultimately. It's a fucking horrible choice, but it's a choice. Mm. And I'm not saying that we need an entire civilization built of Kanye's. We didn't need every slave in the entire world to feel that way. But if we didn't have any, where would we have gotten? We need Kendricks and we need Kanye's. We need left, we need right, we need Jew, we need Muslim, we need Christian, we need Hindu, we need all of it. It all works together. And that's not some kumbaya horseshit. The same way I say I don't explain free healthcare to conservatives in the way of feelings and empathy. I explain it to them in their language, which is economy, which I just did. Collective bargaining brings prices down. That's how I talk to you. We need all of that from everybody. We all contribute things in that way. If you're a fucking liberal sitting at home right now going, I have nothing to learn from conservatives, you're a fucking idiot. If you're a left-wing person that thinks they have nothing to learn from, did I say the same one twice? If you're D.L. Hughley thinking you have nothing to learn from a podcast, you're a fucking idiot. Anyway, short break and then we'll have Nickola on. I don't even know why, but we'll just do it. We created it's almost like New Testament and Old Testament nonsense, where the Old Testament nonsense, well, even it's almost like
that's like Kino.
Gold was BC
and Bitcoin is ironically should be BC, but is actually AD. You know, because it's like, and I'm not like a huge Bitcoin hater necessarily. I despise all speculation, but I also understand why Bitcoin had a purpose. I also understand why people listen. I still bought fucking AMC stock when I knew I was going to make money on it. You know what I mean? I didn't think that they were about to hire more people at AMC, but I still threw my fucking $100 at it while fucking stonks was going on and whatever. Also, by the way, we're recording. This is Nickola. Nickola, what are you? What are you? Would you say?
I'm a person.
Yeah. You're very tall. This is going to make you come off like a giant. Because
The chair is very high up as well.
and also even regular height people come off incredibly tall next to me when we do it this way. So you're going to seem gargantuan. But yeah, you know what? I'm going to throw you off. Do you have the videos pulled up still that I sent you?
I pulled up the first one and then.
But not the pro wrestling one. Okay.
No, it'll take me 2 seconds.
Okay.
But what is it recording now?
Yeah.
It
You're
wasn't
still
recording
recording.
before that.
At a certain point.
Okay,
Last
well,
like whatever.
The whole point was Rob made the point about nonsense. So I just wanted to say one unified nonsense is one thing, and there's certain nonsense power that you get with like one unified group at that volume. But when you break it down, then you don't. It's like you split the machine into like pieces, into factions, and now they have less power. And that's why things get more expensive, because it's been built on nonsense. So you have to split the nonsense.
All right, cool. All right, let me put it in a clear thing. I was talking about nonsense versus and for the love of Christ, Sanker, please edit some of that. Sanker has a tendency to go, oh yeah, I'll clean that up, and then if I looked at it, it's like there's just 8 minutes of us fiddling with that. So there is this idea of nonsense economy. There is now sort of a fracture in the nonsense economy. What I think is a new sort of old nonsense and sort of new nonsense. But I don't want to put words in your mouth necessarily. There's also like America nonsense versus China nonsense. There are some other fractionings. So yeah, go ahead though.
No, this is really what it's just. When you have a massive nonsense, the more people in on the nonsense, the more exponential the power is. But then also there's a flip side, which is what holds the nonsense together, which is the economy. Realistically, there's a few people that are getting to wield the power of the nonsense, but then when you split it up and people don't agree anymore, then you have separate nonsense people and groups, and then those groups, because before you could have way more benefit than you did the like loss, because you could hide more, you have more. It's like inefficiencies and nonsense. When you have 3 people doing some silly stuff somewhere, kicking around shit or doing whatever, and you have somebody looking after what's happening, like behind you, and like picking things up and whatever, moving. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah.
Like, okay.
And then that's, that same, the more people you have in on something, to a point obviously, the more benefit you can get out of it. But it's directly correlated to how many people are into it. So what Rob was saying, you just sort of break up the thing, and then, oh yeah, and also it's a supply and demand thing. So it's like it looks like sometimes it's a line, sometimes it's curves, but there's a level of supply where like it's more expensive when there's less of something because it's rare, and then it goes down. That's like the basics, and then the demand. The supply. Yes, supply and demand. So as the price goes up, there's like a level of, or I'm fucking retarded. I don't know. There's an equilibrium, basically, that prices get reached at over volume. So if a bunch of people are buying something, it gets cheap. But then if you have less people buying something together, currencies, Bitcoin, whatever, buying into something with their time, their money, their whatever, there's less. If it's a different thing, then you're gonna get less benefits. So because it's so cheap, that's like gains from trade, Adam Smith, whatever, like wealth of nations, whatever you want to say. So that's kind of like It's
I
more
said
economics.
I
but
said
boring.
Thomas Paine
It's just-
earlier,
it's
and
just-
he was
it's boring as shit.
Adam Smith.
Yeah.
He was bothering him that I didn't say Adam Smith instead of Thomas Paine.
But Thomas Paine, remember, I used to be a libertarian. Like I was like, oh yeah. But this is like beginning of Joe Rogan. This is like I'm
Sure,
like
yeah.
like 12 or 13 or 15.
How old are
No,
you now again?
24.
24. Yeah.
But it kept hitting me a bit because I still do like his name. I think it's just that's like the best. I don't know how they did it.
Yeah, no, listen, again,
This is
I'm
where
a defender
Kurt
of Joe Rogan.
gets yeah.
Yeah, he's a Metzger head now.
I always liked him, but now
Yeah.
I really like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is funny because only on podcasts recently have I heard Metzger as described more crazy than ever.
Yeah, well, you just gotta just don't match not supplements, but stimulants. Just you can watch Metzger, just don't match stimulants with Metzger because then you're in a trouble zone. But what's going to be particularly interesting about all of this is that there is still American nonsense, and how you can tell exactly what you're saying. There's an interesting thing going on with this whole situation right now that America is allowing, and now allowing is whatever, but they're not interrupting the sale of oil from Iran to China, which sounds counterintuitive, right? Why, if you don't have access to that oil right now, why would you allow China to have access to it, who is technically at least your economic rival, if not beyond your economic rival?
Yeah.
Well, the reason is because we have a whole fucking system. And because just because you think that China's benefit is not your benefit, no, the system's all intertwined. Like, this is the thing I've said over and over again. And by the way, when our prime minister is the guy I believe has been tapped with all of the world leaders to be in charge of keeping the bullshit together as long as he can. He called it decorum, but what he really means by decorum is the bullshit. He means we need to keep this bullshit factory together as long as possible, and Trump is a disruption in the bullshit. Now, that doesn't mean that Trump isn't bullshit himself. Trump belongs to new bullshit. He put out a Bitcoin. He put out a whatever. He doesn't, not like Trump hates speculation.
Yeah, but he's old.
But he doesn't care about, this creates jobs. This whatever. Trump ain't that dude. Now, tariffs lead to that, and tariffs do cut down on speculation. But what's interesting is his decision is the impetus for what will lead to the end of bullshit. Like, he's going to be the guy that creates the conditions in which that's the most obvious, because Iran's a superpower now, because it turns out we all need oil and they got a lot of it. And you'd think logically that would make you a superpower. Like, imagine, why do you think they put us in charge? I believe that Carney is a dude that's been put in charge of the old world order and keeping that old world order together. And why? Well, that dude's sitting on a lot of the water. Like, Canada's going to become pretty important when bullshit goes away. Like, understand that as Canadians, this is a nice, maybe this will help the algorithm a little if we do a little Canada content at the end. Understand as Canadians right now, we are sitting in a very advantageous position. We have all the resources. We have whatever. We have not a crazy population. We're pretty sustainable. Like, we're in a great fucking spot. And so it makes sense. I believe at one point Germany was kind of supposed to be leading the charge. I don't mean Hitler, just Germany, but like Angela Merkel's Germany. Merkel was kind of the one. She was supposed to sort of be in charge of the old world order. I think it's Carney now. And I think like he's the guy that's supposed to keep the bullshit factory together. And by the way, the bullshit factory might be better. I don't know. That's where I'll pretend. I'm not going to pretend like I'm smart enough to know. If this all collapses, we're all smart enough to know there is temporary pain. I do believe the old way is better, but will my personal life be better if the bullshit goes away? I don't know. I don't know that I personally benefit from the bullshit like, or if I don't benefit from the bullshit. The bullshit economy might help me.
I don't get circumcision.
All right,
I don't understand it.
go ahead.
I don't get it. That's everything else. Maybe
You're
sure.
European. Wait, but you were born here.
No.
Oh, so are you uncut?
Yeah, but no.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying
yeah.
you're saying old. I'm saying new. The new is like you can't like the old. You can't really find that many faults in. Yeah, there's some bad shit, but you just gotta get better people in charge. The new is the like, because Trump did the wasps did the cross with the Jews, so then now they're like. And
They've always been together. Let's not forget that
it's only because yes, but they only got when they realized they were the only ones at the top, they just started fucking.
Yes, but there's also so I like that. I believe Dave points this out fairly regularly, that there's a Ted Cruz and there's a Mike Huckabee, and Ted Cruz is a opportunistic politician who is for Israel because the bullshit system props up Israel. Mike Huckabee believes Jews and Muslims will have a fight that ultimately leads to the rapture, and that Jews need their Holy Land so that Christians can ascend into heaven during the rapture. Like, there is scripture that we need to protect the Jews, and there is a faction of people who believe, and that's the old shit, by the way. Like, that's why did we...
That's what I was saying. That's the only thing I don't get. Everything else I'm like, but the circumcision. What the fuck?
Maybe you haven't sucked enough dicks.
Yeah.
If you suck dicks,
that's
it's in your
fair
mouth.
Enough.
and-
Yeah. Because that's probably where they like.
And honestly, much like it, like I imagine veal. Like, I've never had veal, but I imagine veal is more tender and whatever. So then,
Veal
like
overrated.
yeah.
Just like circumcised dicks, veal overrated.
I just had horse.
Horse could be.
I had horse on my birthday.
I bet it's good.
Yeah, it's not bad. We could have just had the beef, but it was horse tartare from La Palette.
Horse is great because it has different. Like, it's not the same meat because it doesn't eat the same stuff and it's not part of the same animal as like a cow, so it has better. They're different. Like, it's a different thing.
I felt strong after, oddly.
It is.
There was like it could have been completely placebo, but there was absolutely a part of me afterwards where I was like,
I'm a horse.
You guys want to hear a funny psyop? Pork, if it's like good pork, is actually really good for you. That was just like a psyop, but you need to get like a roast.
Yeah. But
That's like it's like
quality pork.
yes, it's really, really, really good for you.
well, it's fairly lean. The pork
no.
thing has been like it's the other white meat. Like, it actually is
You know
not
why
that
they
bad.
don't know? But why? What it is? I never knew this. It has a shit ton of potassium.
Pork
don't
has a
get
lot
cramps.
of potassium.
Potassium is for cramps. Potassium is for regulating your heartbeat. Potassium is for putting water into your muscles. Sodium brings the water in your body. Potassium puts it in your muscles. I only learned this recently because I was like, oh shit, one meat that has hella potassium. The other ones, sure, they have like B12, whatever, if you get organs or whatever. But there's still, it's like meat. It's not, there's not like.
Nicola's a
shit.
weird guy. I love that.
It's
I like
more the non sequiturs
Yeah,
that
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't see coming.
No, it's the
like,
other-
we're like Iran, and then he's like also pork.
He's just what I like about Nicola is he's one of the most intellectually curious,
Yeah.
early 20s people I've ever met in my life.
I hung out here and I met Rob and I'm the type of person that like, if I think I'll kind of just keep hanging out if it's chill, then I'll just fucking
Yeah.
Yeah,
be
Nicholas here a
here
lot.
all the time.
You
but
look like
Yeah.
you need a chill spot.
yeah, I do. I do.
Yeah,
No, but
with no Jews. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I know.
Why my parents? Apparently, my mom's side they shelter Jews.
Good for them.
Yeah.
At some point.
It is weird to think now that so Israel, and let's end in a second, but Israel just put out a thing that warning Christians in southern Lebanon to not hide Muslims in whatever's, which means that like now Muslims or Christians are hiding Muslims in the attic from Jews. Isn't that a crazy?
How the turntables.
How the turntables is
Turn. Anyways,
was
all right.
Michael
I feel
Scott.
like that's a listen. Let me
But
just
yeah.
close on the point.
It's pretty fucking.
Invest in real. Anything that's real, a real commodity, a real fucking thing. Take your money out of speculation. If you're a Christian and your money is in speculation, that's a sin. It's not supposed to be. Take it out, put it in something real, put it in nuclear. Good night.
Good night.
That was really good.